JDev is back at it here to give everyone on their Walking Dead Season 9 episode reaction video. But before I continue with that, it's extremely important if you're not caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching The Walking Dead, that you take the initiative and pay attention to the episode title, which of course I'll put in the description for you if that's the case you find out that you're not caught up. I suggest, and so does everybody else, that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. This is going to be The Walking Dead Season 9 episode number 10. The title of this episode is called Omega. This is going to be my reaction, review, recap of the episode. And keep in mind, I've seen this episode a few times. Just doing a reaction to it, I have it on my channel. And also doing a reaction to it due to the fact that they announced that The Walking Dead Season 11 is going to be the final season of the main Walking Dead show. At the hilltop, Lydia describes her story to Henry, while both, of course, are still in the community prison, unaware that Daryl is listening to them. As Lydia continues and explains, Henry starts to become more compassionate towards Lydia, his own family having gone through similar hardships and tragedies as Lydia has. Soon after, Daryl actually drags Henry away, fearing he may be becoming too close to Lydia, or just because he's given her too much information. But Daryl does continue to talk to her as well, trying to scope out the size of her group, as Lydia claims that they may be coming for her. Or coming to save her, I should say. And then Daryl finds her arm covered in marks, which she says came from her mother. Daryl, who has also been beaten as a child, displays some sympathy for Lydia because of the abuse, but she proves to still be uncooperative. He eventually walks off, claiming Lydia is now Tara's problem, but Henry tries to convince him that Lydia is coming to face her past now, and then Henry mentions his surrogate mother, Carol, who had cut her hair short due to abuse from her first husband, Ed, from season 1, that Shane beat the shit out of, which was awesome, finally has grown to feel safe enough to let it grow again now. And then Daryl agrees to work with Henry to try to help Lydia, because Daryl and Carol are so tight. And then throughout the episode, we see some flashbacks. Lydia's stories are told to the months after the Walker or zombie apocalypse or Walker outbreak. She and her parents have taken refuge in Baltimore, a shelter there with others. Lydia's father's sanity starts to unravel and believes the shelter is no longer safe. However, her mother takes more command, willing to kill a survivor sheltering with them who is having a panic attack, as she considers him too weak to survive. And then that night, the survivor turns while Lydia is watching, and her father runs to save her, but ends up getting bit in the process. This only serves to harden Lydia's mother, eventually leading to them to don the masks made from the walkers to survive. And then in the present, Henry decides to let Lydia out of herself for a while, and discreetly shows her the safety and facilities of Hilltop Hilltop has to offer. And during that time period, Lydia actually picks up a worm and starts to eat it, and then picks one up and gives it to Henry. And Henry's like, well, okay. And Henry puts it in his mouth, and you can just tell Henry thinks that's the most disgusting thing ever. And then while Lydia has an opportunity to take a hammer and strike Henry with it to escape, the cries of a baby cause her to panic and flashbacks to her past, and she begs to be returned to her cell. She asks Henry to stay with her throughout the night. When morning comes, Daryl returns, and Lydia states that she doesn't think her mother will be coming, and she was only trying to scope out information for her. And then Lydia tells them that her story was a lie, her mother having told her that story to blame for her father's death on Lydia. In reality, or in all actuality, when the survivor had turned, it wasn't Lydia's father that was bitten, but instead another survivor. Her mother took the opportunity to try to make their escape from the shelter, killing Lydia's father at that time period when he refused to leave with them. And then Lydia mentions where her mother and her people may be camped, but notes that they frequently move about, so they don't stay in one place very often. And then meanwhile, Tara leads Magna, Yumiko, Connie, and Kelly to search for Alden and Luke, aware that they may encounter more people like Lydia that wear Walker disguises. While they find the Paris horses, Tara declares it too risky to stay out and orders the group back to Hilltop. There, Magna's group debates going against orders to go back and search for Luke, knowing that this will harm their chances to be accepted by the Hilltop community, While they try to find the tracks again in the middle of the night, more walkers appear, and then Magnus suggests that they need to return, but Kelly states that they should find Luke. Connie opts to stay with Kelly. Unbeknownst to them, a whisper secretly watches them. Eventually, Magna and Himiko return to the hilltop by daylight. And then on guard posts, Himiko apologizes to Tara for leaving. Tara accepts and tells Himiko to talk to her next time and informs her that the guards had seen them leave and she had sent out a party to find them and recover them, not wanting to see anybody else hurt. And as they watch the guards bring Kelly and Connie back just outside the hilltop gate, they spot a small group of whispers approaching the hilltop. The guards then grab Kelly to get her safely inside, but she is separated from Connie, who hides and takes shelter in the nearby cornfield. At the front of the gate, the Whispers leader, Lydia's mom, now known as Alpha, appears unmasked and introduces herself. Alpha announces to the hilltop residents that she only wants one thing from them, her daughter, and that is how the episode ends. So it's a little bit more of a slower episode than we've seen in season 9. I liked parts of it. I thought it was a good episode for Lydia. It's a good episode for Henry. It's a good episode for Daryl. And Tara, while she didn't have a lot of moments in it, I really liked Tara all of a sudden, which since season 6, I've been hating Tara, but she sucked in 7, sucked in 6, sucked in 8, but she's gotten better all of a sudden. She's less annoying. It's weird. As far as the character of the episode, I'm mad that Negan wasn't in this episode. I'm always mad when he's not in that episode. I'm going to give it to Henry, and I could have given it to Lydia. I could have given it to Daryl, but I'm going to give it to Henry because Henry did a lot of good things in this episode. And I like the fact that he brought up Carol's relationship with Ed when Ed used to beat Carol. And as far as the score of the episode, I'm going to give it an 8.2 out of 10. I think that was good. Again, it's a little slower, so I had to give it a little less of a score. So you've heard what I have to say about the episode. Now it's your turn. So if you're a fan of The Walking Dead and you like this episode from season 9, or you're just a fan of The Walking Dead in general, go ahead and smash that like button. If you know anyone out there that would be interested in this, go ahead and share it to them. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comment section. You can talk about anything Walking Dead related, the episode, season 11, whatever you want to talk about. And of course, last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.